Hello and welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host JT, and you're watching Black Box Trading. Beautiful price action. I'm really excited to share with you how I'm looking at the market. We're seeing really positive follow through with the altcoin portfolio. Matt won't be here on today's show, but he'll be on the next show. But his portfolio is kicking ass, specifically Sui. So Sui is the outlier in his portfolio. We'll get to all that. We'll first cover Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll get into the altcoin. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. And this is what I'm looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Let's turn off alpha metrics for just a moment here, and let's just appreciate this pure price action. This is an accumulation formation, and we got a beautiful move to the downside here. Now people freak out, they're like, oh shit, we're falling to the downside. And yes, you know, when you look at trading ranges, when you look at triangles, a breakdown does signify a sell. But what happens next is really important to pay attention to, because they're in the Wyckoff method in particular. It can be identified as what's called a spring. And I mentioned this spring in the private group. I realize that we have a lot of new people in the private group, and a lot of people haven't heard a lot of the Wyckoff lingo and a lot of the Wyckoff terminology. So I'm just kind of casually throwing it around, and not surprising, someone asked ChatGPT, what is the characteristics of a Wyckoff spring? So I figured this was a really good opportunity to actually just go through this and show how I am looking at this with the current price action. So this was no chart was shared with ChatGPT. It was just asking to define what is a spring from the Wyckoff point of view, and it occurs in a trading range. Bitcoin is in a trading range. We've established this with this yellow parallel channel right here. Price temporarily dips below the support level, triggering stop loss orders and luring in short sellers. Volume may spike. So if we take a look over here, it broke below the support. Volume may spike. The volume, we actually have a really good volume spike here. The last volume spike that was this large happened back here as a result of us hitting our seller's climax. Prior to that was the preliminary supply, but we're not going to get too into the weeds in the Wyckoff. Basically, the entire consolidation from a volume perspective has been dead up until this point, where the short sellers were stacking in, the stop losses were getting hit, the liquidations were starting to hit, and the buyers were stepping in. That's a part of volume. Volume is not discretionary. When you see volume on a red candle, it doesn't mean that everybody's selling. It just means that there's a lot of trading activity happening at that candle. So usually when the volume is so pronounced, it's showing you that there's both sides of the trade taking place, and it's important to monitor what happens next. So when we look at volume, the best way to kind of help a new person to understand volume is to think of volume is the effort and the price is the result. So it's that balance of the effort and result, the cause and the effect. So when the effort is being applied to the asset, Bitcoin in this case, what is the result of that effort? So when we look at these volume spikes over here, this increase in volume, what was the result? The result was red candles. It was a lot of selling. We saw an increased amount of selling until we got to the bottom where the buyers stepped in and it stopped the price from falling, that stopping action. So when we came down here, yes, there was a lot of selling. That's how the price went down. But the end result, especially when you look at the higher time frames, look at this daily candle. Look at that. It's a doji. This is a red candle with not much of a tail. This is basically a doji marking the bottom of the range on this high volume candle. So it's indicating a reversal. We have not had a high volume event during this consolidation. This was our first high volume event of this consolidation, and it's a positive sign. Now, the next thing that we need to see, quick recovery back into the range, indicating that the breakdown was a trap, not a true supply overwhelming demand. That's exactly what we're seeing, often followed by a sign of strength, SOS move. So the sign of strength is what we're waiting for now, but we have some really good check marks that we can go through. So we fell out of the range, we reclaimed the range, we broke the downward sloping line of resistance. The next thing that we have to do is we have to get out of the range. Once the price comes out of the range, that's going to be considered our SOS. That is our sign of strength. If we see that SOS, we're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to much higher levels. 150K Bitcoin is on the very near term horizon. Cool. Really fun stuff. What's going on with the altcoins? So let's check in with our portfolio here, and let's take a look at the performance. Let's give this page a little bit of a refresh. So if you missed the prior shows, Matt and I decided to put together a $5,000 portfolio. He put together a $5,000 portfolio, and I put together a $5,000 portfolio with different strategies and different allocations as to how we assembled that portfolio. Matt went with tried and true coins that have been around for a long time, with, you know, the added benefit that since they have street cred, since they've been around for a while, you could see traditional finance kind of adopt them and get some ETFs, which would bring a ton of demand for those assets. I went for more of the traditional altcoin trader approach, where I pick all of my picks are from this cycle. I didn't pick anything that was around in the prior cycle. Everything is from this cycle. So all brand new coins, much more of a kind of a degenerate move. But I think that, you know, I'm not trying to catch Wall Street. None of my coins I expect to end up in an ETF. I think if any of my coins end up in an ETF, that's a top signal. So I'm not shooting for any ETF or legitimate adoption, whereas you know, the market caps are much smaller, so I'm going for higher levels. And as it stands right now, Matt's portfolio is up 6.8% overall. That's so the $5,000 portfolio is 5,300. My pick is up 7%, slightly above, not much. We're pretty much matched. You know, it's still $5,300 portfolio. And when you compare that to Bitcoin is flat. It's flat since we created these portfolios. It's up $4. So definitely the market is outperforming Bitcoin. The altcoins finally are outperforming Bitcoin. And we've been talking about this for years. I've been very, very vocal, and some people listened, a lot of people didn't. Those people that didn't are probably quite happy to hear that I'm finally changing my tune. Now I'm finally in the camp that yes, it is indeed showing signs that we are in altcoin season. And if we fall out of this channel, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a quick one, violent one. It's going to be a lot of gains really quickly, which is what, well, you know, the altcoin traders want to see. I would prefer to see something a little bit more sustained, something that lasts at least 3 months. You know, if we really just fall out of this channel and just go into down only on Bitcoin dominance, you know, you do need to entertain the possibility that maybe the altcoin season is going to be short. So do have that in the back of your mind. The gains are going to be great. You're going to have a lot of fun, but just have that in your back of your mind. If this is really falling quite quickly, then, you know, the altcoin season could be rather short. It could be, you know, 2 months, 1 month. That's it. Again, the gains will be crazy, but it'll be short. So do keep that in mind. We want to see this kind of slow down a little bit. But yeah, it's looking good from a structural point of view. The alphanumerics indicators, you know, the short-term moving average, the 7 is unavoidably going to bearish cross below the 30 at this point. The trajectory of the 7 is guaranteed to cross the 30 at this point over the next couple of days. We are holding the bottom of this channel as support. And if we bounce off that, that could stall the move in altcoins. But honestly, the overall move that we're seeing here in alts is you're seeing a lot of capital flow. A lot of people are really bullish on alts, and you're seeing an outperformance. You know, for every percent that Bitcoin moves, you're seeing a 5% move in alts. Whereas what we've seen in this bull market so far is we see like a 5% move in Bitcoin. The alts don't do anything. They kind of hesitate and stall, and then Bitcoin moves up another 5%, and then the alts play catch up. It's definitely changing. It's rotating. The alts are much more reflexive, and in some cases, they're actually leading on Bitcoin. So it's a good sign of a rotation taking place. Let's go through the portfolio one by one. We've got 10 assets that are in our portfolio. Go ahead and span the tickers if you want me to take a look at any projects that you guys are interested in. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at, go through our list. So we covered Bitcoin, we covered Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at total. Let's see how total is doing. Macro view here on the weekly. We're still below the all-time highs here for total. So the real acceleration and excitement is going to occur once we get above this level. So once the altcoin market, this is total 3, by the way, so that is the total cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. So it's basically everything else. And we're still below the all-time highs here. So if we can clear this level, if we can break out above that, that is a strong sign. So if you're sidelined right now, no worries. It doesn't matter. You don't need to FOMO into any of this stuff right now. I don't want to cause a panic that you got to take your altcoin position right away. Honestly, you don't. You have a lot of time left because we're still below this macro level. But as soon as price is above this, level, you're going to have to make up your mind. You're going to have to figure out what you're doing. Are you sitting this one out? Are you going to ride the rocket ship? Are you going to get yourself an altcoin portfolio? Get it figured out. And I mean quickly. So if you see a move like this where we break out and then there's a consolidation, which there will likely be, once you see that consolidation, this consolidation that hasn't happened yet, this has not happened yet, but this consolidation will be your last chance to figure it out. You will have to have your altcoin portfolio set by that point, because the moment we take out the high and trend up from there, you don't want to do anything. You just want to kick back and just watch the portfolio grow. This is a less is more situation. The more buttons you press, the more assets you rotate into, the more chasing. Oh, all the influencers are talking about this coin. I got to go after this coin, that coin. The more of that bullshit that you do, the less money you will make. So do your research, figure out what you want to hold. Don't hold more than 5 is what I would recommend. Honestly, they all move the same. You know, we're in completely different assets. Matt and I, we're in 5 completely different coins, and they've returned the exact same amount. So don't get bogged down with too many choices. It's Bitcoin and it's crypto. So, you know, there's no such thing as diversification in crypto. They all kind of move the same. Now we can take a look at Doge. So Doge is getting above a key support range here, or a key resistance. This is on BitGet. Let's go to something with a little bit more history. Let's go Doge Binance. And it's this support / resistance flip that we are looking to break through here. If we have not already done so, yeah, it's kind of this area right here. That's just where a lot of the trading activity is here. There's a support, resistance. You guys get it, support. So we are peaking above that right now. This is kind of the backup before blast off. So if you're going to take a position in Doge, this is the place to do it. You don't want it to creep up any further than this. It has a possibility of going down, but with what I'm seeing in the markets and that rotation finally taking place, if you were planning to take a position in Doge, I think this is your last chance to do so. So we're at that nice psychological 25-cent mark. You know, it's a quarter to buy a Doge. Get in at a quarter and you'll be selling it for dollars later on in the cycle. Not financial advice. Nobody has a crystal ball. We're just dudes on the internet that have been trading this stuff long enough to identify the trends. That's how it's looking for Doge. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP is looking really healthy. Breakout. Oops. I gotta get rid of this pen tool. There we go. Breakout and a weekly bullish. This is our phantom candle. These pop up before large trends take place. In Bitcoin, it usually equates to a 60% move plus. In XRP, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But maybe at least 100% move. But yeah, it's a breakout. We had a bull flag. We had a breakout from the bear market. Breakout from the bear market. Bull flag breakout. It's going up. It's going up, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. We are above all three moving averages. We are above the 7. We are above the 30. We are above the 50. The wave is green. The bullish bias is here. The phantom signal is telling you that we're going to do at least a 60% move. Get on the train, ladies and gentlemen. Get on the train. Link. Let's take a look at Link here. Got all these old drawings that are no longer relevant. This is nice and clean. Nice and clean support / resistance flip, kind of a cup and handle formation where we had a breakout and then a failure of that breakout. C'est la vie, that's altcoin trading. And then we got a double bottom and we're trying to reclaim that level. This level, this $20 psychological level for Chainlink is a sticky area, but given everything we've seen in the alt so far, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. Let's catch up with the chat real quick before we move on to Sui, which has been doing incredibly well. We got the Fundy AU all in the chat. Good morning, sir. Kahuna's in the chat. Aloha, aloha, sir. Let's go, Brandon. Can you check on DOT for me? Been sitting on a fat bag for many years with an average price of $8. Just ready to drop it. Don't be too ready to drop DOT, my friend. I think don't go in with the mindset of I gotta get rid of this shit. You've held it for this long. You've held it through the bear market. You've held it through the Bitcoin bull market, which has also been an altcoin bear market. And now we're in the altcoin bull market and you're going in with the mindset of I got to get rid of this shit. You got the bag. You held the bag. It's time to hold the bag for the purpose of the bag holding. It is the time for recovery. It is the time for exceeding your expectations and gains. We'll take a look at DOT. We'll take a look at DOT. All right, Sui. We'll just go one by one here. Sui's been great, and my God, like I wish Matt was here to talk about this entry because we nailed it. We nailed it. Sui, the entry, we had a big rotationary move. We saw a lot of liquidity coming into alts. That was when Bitcoin dominance was basically down here. And we're like, holy shit, well, there's got to be some sort of a recovery. And then we had the move in Bitcoin dominance go to the center of the channel. And both Matt and I were like, we gotta get in on this. And that was right around here. And boom, it's up over 17%. I think he even got a better price than that, but we'll just go with the close. 17% over the last couple of days, over the last 3 days. So Sui's been on a tear. Sui's been absolutely killing it. Let's take a look at ETH. ETH slowing down just a little bit. It's up near all-time highs. It's up at its kind of resistance point. So it's going to slow down. You know, we're up at this macro resistance way up here. It's still got a little bit of work to do. We saw a couple coins like that, you know, Total, right? It's kind of similar to Total, or Total 3, even though Ethereum is not a part of Total 3. That's kind of still the sticking point that Ethereum is working through. All right, let's get into my degen bag here. Let's take a look at Pangu. Stupid meme coin. It's a meme coin. I mean, what is there to say when it's just a revolving door of, you know, idiots, where it's just, all right, we're playing a game of musical chairs. Who can sell it to the next person? Who can sell it to the next person? And then at the end of when the music stops, who's left holding the bags? So that's pretty much the entire investment thesis of Pangu or any other meme coin that you're going to be taking a look at. But when the conditions are right, you know, don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it. The conditions are right. We're looking at a 4-cent Pangu right here. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 40 cents. You know, these are meme coins. They're silly. They make no sense. So don't try to attach too much logic to it. One of the best things that you can do to monitor a meme coin is get this moving average array on your screen right now. We're on the daily chart. You want the 7, that represents the week. You want the 30, that represents the month. If you want, it's optional. You can put the 50 on there, but really what you need is the 7 and the 30, which is the weekly and the monthly. When we are printing higher highs and higher lows, you're going to be on top of that 7. When we are in a high velocity uptrend, you're going to be on top of that 7. Now, when we fall below it, you can fall down to the monthly price. You can fall down to that 30, and it's okay. If you're here to scalp, you'll buy or you'll sell below that 7. If you're here for the swing trade, you'll hold on below that 7. And what you want to avoid is the 7, the weekly average price, crossing below the monthly average price. If the 7 goes below the 30, the swing trade is over. The momentum is gone. It's time to get out. But I mean, we are a far ways away from that happening as it stands right now, so it's looking good here for Pangu. Let's take a look at Sonic. This one's a laggard. This one's not really showing too much excitement. It's actually quite lackluster here. I picked Sonic because of kind of the narratives that were coming from the community. It just reminded me a lot of the early days of Solana. But they're definitely struggling here. So, you know, there's not a ton of demand here for Sonic. Let's turn volume on and just see. Yeah, volume's picking up. But again, volume is effort, price is result. So what is the result of the effort? There's a lot of effort being applied and we haven't moved up in price. That means that there's still a lot of sellers left in Sonic. When that shifts, when the sellers become exhausted, you know, that volume does, you know, become demand at that point. And once we get that demand, we can see some price appreciation to the upside. But as it stands right now, a lot of effort, not a lot of results. That means there's still quite a few sellers in Sonic. Let's take a look at Caspa. Caspa's looking really good. Double bottom. Volume coming in. What is the result of that volume? Uptrend. Basically, from my entry here on Caspa. Caspa was a beautiful entry. I mean, I nailed the bottom. I mean, not this bottom, but the double bottom here. I'm up 60%. No, that can't be right. That can't be right. No, I'm looking at the weekly. That's why. Yeah, I knew that was too good to be true. I knew that was too good to be true. When was that dip in Bitcoin dominance? Let's go back to Bitcoin dominance. Go to the daily. We were up here. That was on the 24th. Let's go back to CAS. Go to the 24th. Yeah, that was right here. 7%. Makes a lot more sense. Makes a lot more sense. But still, healthy trend on top of the 7. Dipped below the 7. Looks like it wants to reclaim it. All of the moving averages are in bullish alignment. They are tilted up. They are pointed up. That is indicating an uptrend. Things will really get exciting once CAS gets above 12 cents. That's when we flip our bear market bias. This wave in the background, I don't know if you can see it too clearly. Let's make it a little bit brighter. Oh, looks like we can't do any adjustments. Lagging. Let's try and refresh. Save and reload. Let's make it a little bit brighter so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll make this, say, 25. 25. 25. There we go. So the best conditions that you can be in is when this wave is green, and that is dictated by these little white lines. So these little white dots here, once you take out these dots, it shifts the momentum, it shifts the bias. Currently, It's still a bear market bias for Caspa, but this is really healthy price action. These are really healthy moving averages. And if this healthy moving average and healthy price action takes out this dot right here at 12 cents, it's going to flip this red bear market bias into a green bull market bias. And then we got smooth sailing ahead of us. It's nothing but up only from there. All right, let's go back over to the watch list and let's take a look at HBAR. We got 2 more left before we go ahead and take a look at Polkadot. HBAR has also been really strong in HBAR. Double bottom here on the weekly, purple phantom candle, the 7 crossing above the 30, volume coming in, effort is high, result is positive. It's looking good. It's looking good. Finally, we'll cap things off with Solana looking good. We are still at the bear market bias. Oh no, we're bull market bias. My bad. My apologies. We are bull market bias here on Solana. Very similar price action to CAS, even though they're not related at all. But yeah, we're on top of the 7, reclaiming that 7. The 30 and the 50 we're all in bullish alignment. They're pointing up. We got the green bull market bias. When we take a look at the weekly, we got that phantom signal, that weekly phantom purple candle. These usually result in large moves. The last purple candle that we had in Solana resulted in a 67% move. Like I was saying, you know, when they happen on Bitcoin, you get kind of that 60% move. So it's looking good. It's looking really good. Looking really good. I don't have much negative to say out there. Let's go ahead and start taking requests. We had the request for Polkadot. So let's take a look at Polkadot. This is one that you must have been holding for a while. Polkadot has not been talked about much for a while. Not that it's bad or anything. It's just, you know, crypto is all hype, ladies and gentlemen, specifically altcoins. Like, yeah, Bitcoin is fantastic. Bitcoin is a store of wealth. It is a hedge against inflation. It's a cypherpunk movement. There's a lot of pros that go with Bitcoin. Altcoins, they're a lot harder to handle. Now, typically when people come into the space, what do they go for? Are they buying Bitcoin? No, they're buying altcoins. So a lot of times they kind of get fucked over and end up holding bags. They become bag holders long term. If that sounds like you, hey, don't worry, you're in good company. There are plenty of people that end up in these positions, but long-term accumulation. Now, overall, really poor performer when compared to some of the other assets, and that goes again to my original point of hype. Nobody's really talking about DOT. Somebody's got to start you know, promoting this thing. Now, there's no better promoter than price. Price is the ultimate promoter. When things are going up, people want to buy it and they don't even care what the narrative is. So, you know, when the trickle down economics of the demand of the overall crypto market come down, you're gonna see DOT go up, whether it's through arb traders that are just correcting price against stablecoins. You see a lot more volume coming in. The bots see the volume, the bots start trading DOT, whatever the case may be. When liquidity hits the market, it hits it as a whole. There's going to be winners that have hype narratives and people just pack into it because it's like the best thing. And, you know, DOT had that last cycle. That's why a lot of people have DOT. But if that doesn't happen this cycle, I wouldn't worry. I still think that there's plenty of upside here in DOT because just when the liquidity hits the market, you're going to see a lot of things go up. A rising tide raises all... But a rising tide moves all ships, whatever the expression is. I can't remember. But yeah, it does have a little bit of work to do here. It's got to get above the 30 and the 50. Both of those are still pointing down. It is on top of the 7. That's good. And it doesn't have far to go to turn the bear market bias into a bull market bias. But to get above the macro support or the macro resistance range that I would think it needs to do, it has to rally 100%. Has to rally 100%. So there's still a lot of work that DOT needs to do. If you're holding the bag, you know, and you haven't dollar cost averaged in anymore. I mean, again, not financial advice. This thing doesn't have to do anything, but if you're in the position anyways, this is a good opportunity for you to lower your cost basis. Again, I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just, if I was in your situation, I might look to a way where we could lower the cost basis, because you're potentially looking at the lower end of the range, and it's going to take us 100% just to get to the price where it might break out. Again, you know, your miles may vary. You got to do your own, you got to make your own decisions, but that's kind of what I would do. But that's DOT. All right, we got one for Q&T. Let's take a look at Q&T. Kind of a similar situation. It's not blowing my socks off. It's not one that's showing incredible amounts of it's not showing an incredible amount of demand, but it's doing a little bit better. It's on top of the 7. It's got the bull market bias. The 7 and 30 are curling up. Got a tickle in my throat today. It's kind of hard to do all this fast-paced talking and yelling, but we'll get through it. Yeah, Q&T, it looks okay. It looks okay. There are better coins out there for sure, but this looks okay. Could you please look at pups? It's a rune. Yeah, let's take a look at pups. Let's look at some runes. Gotta go to Magic Eden for that degen shit. Speaking of Magic Eden, by the way, the one that we have been in for a while, that's been doing beautifully. Sorry, taking a little detour here. Apologies, a selfish little detour. Where's the chart? Where's the chart? Chart. Natcats. We've been talking about Natcats. Well, we minted Natcats. We were one of the first people to get into Natcats. We created Natcats. So shout out to all those on-chain degens that got themselves minting some cats here. But we've had a beautiful week, like fantastic. We were down here at 450,000 sats per cat, now at 750,000 sats per cat, an over 60% move. I mean, if you go from the actual lows, it's a much more impressive number, but you want to get it at a somewhat realistic price where somebody could have bought. It's, yeah, really big sign of strength, kind of change of behavior here in Natcats, looking really good. Let's go take a look at those runes like you originally requested. How do I get to them runes? Where are them runes? Runes. Take a look at the ADA chart. Yeah, it's a pretty sad chart, honestly. Charles Hoskinson flipping over to Bitcoin really did a number, but we'll take a look. We'll take a look. Pups World Peace up 27% on the day. Holy moly. Runes, I mean, they're down bad. Let's be real here. They're down bad, but we're getting a little bit of a recovery. You know, blanket statement for those that are like looking at this being like, what the fuck am I looking at here? What is all this garbage? These are ordinals. Runes are ordinals. BRC20s are ordinals. You can have ordinal NFTs. This all falls under the category of ordinal theory, which is basically shitcoins and NFTs on the Bitcoin network. These are not ready. These are not ready. We're seeing nice movements. It's encouraging. It's showing us glimmers of hope, but these aren't ready to melt your face off yet. We need to see the big coins move first. We need to see the mid caps move first. We need to see the lower caps move first. And then you get into the mania phase, the mania degenerate, like people just pissing money, throwing it at whatever. Ordinals fall under that category of just complete degeneracy. So it's nice. We're seeing signs of life. But it's not that we're not going to see a ton of volume. We're not going to see a ton of volume just yet, but it's nice. It's nice. So, you know, it's looking good. Still a technical downtrend though. Still a technical downtrend here on Pups World Peace. Take a look at the weekly. We've reclaimed the 9. They have the 9 here as a default. So, you know, it's making moves in the right direction. I'm just not expecting much to happen very quickly. I'm expecting much to happen quickly later. Let's take a look at Cardano. Yeah, not bad. Not great. Not bad. You kind of have this. This is a Jesse Livermore broadening wedge formation. Ascending broadening wedge. These are a bitch to trade, by the way. So do be cautious when you're dealing with a widening, broadening wedge, because you don't know where the breakout will happen. So this is what sucks about a broadening wedge, is you can rally up to the top and you're like, oh my God, it's happening. And then it'll come all the way back down and still technically be bullish. So broadening wedges kind of suck, but when a broadening wedge does break out, they usually break out in a very, very strong, like they just go into up only. So it's a double-edged sword with broadening wedges. My advice to you, if you are wanting to trade Cardano, do not fucking touch leverage. Do not touch leverage. Do not touch margin because of this formation, because of the widening broadening wedge, or because of the ascending broadening wedge. Sorry. It's just too risky to try and peg the bottom. It's going to be too volatile on your emotions. If you want a position in Cardano, spot and chill. Let the bullshit just play itself out with this formation, because this is one of the hardest formations to trade. But if you're buying here, spot, hanging out, no worries, because you know we're entering in a bull market, and it goes to the top and it breaks out of the broadening wedge, you're gonna be one happy camper. And honestly, the leverage that you would have had on it, you wouldn't even care. Like you're gonna be sitting pretty at that point. So that would be my unsolicited advice for all those that are looking at Cardano. But yeah. Iagon, the best Cardano native token, their version of Filecoin. Cool beans. All right, if you guys haven't already done so, get into the Discord. We are working on a deal with one of the exchanges right now. We're working on a deal with our partners to sponsor your altcoin portfolio. So what we are going to do, what we're doing in the coming weeks, we'll probably do the cutoff mid-August, because we're kind of in that transition point where, yes, we're seeing bullish momentum in the altcoins. Forget it. I'll just get straight to the point. We're going to give you $5,000. Okay. If you can come up with a $5,000 altcoin portfolio, and that altcoin portfolio over a period of 3 months is the top performing portfolio, you are going to get your original investment back from us. We are going to give you the $5,000 that you took to create that portfolio, and we're going to give you your original investment back. So you get a $5,000 portfolio. You get a bunch of altcoins that have gone up massively because you are the winner of the competition, and we get to take profits on your behalf. We get to give you that $5,000 that you used to create said portfolio. So nothing's been officially launched yet. If you guys are interested in that, make sure to get into the Discord. How do you get into the Discord? You go to blockbox.pro, BLKBöX.pro. There's links in the description. There's links everywhere. There's links everywhere. So just go to one of those links, click the join trading community, fill out the 3 questions to get into the community, click submit, and we will see you guys there, and you'll receive more up-to-date. You will receive the up-to-date info on how to enter into that competition. So get ready, start thinking about what it is that you want to put into that portfolio. And the people that are really dialed in and know this market and know what the new money is missing and know where the trends are going to go, you're going to massively outperform the market. And as a result of that knowledge, you're going to get paid for that knowledge. So it's a win-win for everybody. We hope that you guys take advantage of that, because we don't do these kinds of giveaways very often. In fact, I don't think we've ever done a money giveaway. We've never given away Tether. And we're giving away $5,000 worth of tether, 5,000 tether sent to whatever crypto wallet you want. So definitely follow along, subscribe, like, do all the things, but most importantly, get into the Discord, because that's where you're going to be fed the instant information on how to enter into that competition. All right. What else do we got? Aya gone. Let's take a look at that. I'm curious about the best Cardano file protocol. Iagon. IAG. Migrated from their old contract to their new one. Let's go to their new one. Okay, Cardano scan. That's not what I care about. Let's take a look at the max here. This is exactly the same chart as Cardano. Structurally speaking, I'm sure pound for pound, like, you know, if Cardano moves 1%, this might be moving 2%. But look at that. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's the exact same structure. Turn alpha metrics off. You got 1 blip, 2 blip, 3 blip. 1 blip, 2 blip, 3 blip. It's the same freaking chart. Exactly the same. This just further drills home the point that I made earlier, that crypto is highly correlated. Like, it's all the same shit. You don't need to diversify too much. If you like Cardano, or you like any project on Cardano, this is just me. It might not be you. So like Iagon, if I was bullish on Iagon, I would just buy Cardano. Me personally, I know that that gives up a few percentage points, but I get to capitalize on the bullishness of Iagon. I get to capitalize on the bullishness of any of the Cardano NFTs. I get to capitalize on the bullishness of any narrative that is attached to Cardano. I'll just do Cardano. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the Solana play. If anybody is bullish on a Solana NFT, I'm good. I got Solana. If anybody is bullish on some Solana yield farm, I'm good. I got Solana. So that's kind of, I like to play it that way. Yes, there's less theoretical gains, but you get more consistent gains because every single micro narrative inside of the cycle goes towards the demand of the underlying asset that would allow that narrative to take place. But anyways, I digress. Let's take a look at the old, oh, this doesn't even have a website. There's no website for Iagon. There's a LinkedIn. It's on Twitter. That's it. All right. Well, there's no website. That's generally what we call a red flag. Only 60 million market cap. But hey, CRO. Speaking of bag holders, my God, that one. I got some CRO kicking around back in the day. I got my CRO card somewhere. Did you get the card? The crypto debit card? The glorified prepaid debit card? Let's take a look at CR. Hey, it's pretty much the same as Cardano. So you're seeing a lot of this like ascending, broadening wedge formations. They're a pain in the ass. They're a pain in the ass, but here they are. CRO, yeah, it's a laggard. You know, it's something from the last cycle. My thesis is new cycle, new coins. New cycle, new coins. If you're holding bags, cool. Don't rotate into new bags. Don't rotate into new coins. Hold on to your coins. It's fine. Like, these are going to go up. They're going to go up. You're in the recovery phase. If you've been waiting this long, you've been waiting for this. So don't sell now to rotate into something new and shiny. But moving forwards, as if you want to stay an altcoin trader, generally speaking, in my experience, new cycle, new coins. That's how I play it. But yeah, I mean, it's looking good. Let's turn alpha metrics back on. We turned the wave green. We have a bull market bias. Let's go over to the weekly. Do we have a bull market candle? No bull market candle, but we are on top of the 7. We are on top of the 30. We are on top of the 50. Oh, we do have the bull market candle. It's just really small here in red. Hard to see, but there it is. So you do have that that bullish phantom candle. And look at these strong weeks, man. You had a 31% week, followed by a 12% week, followed by a 20% week. Might need a little bit of a cool down, but yeah, it's definitely changing its character. It's changing its behavior. It's coming back to life. It's looking good. FIDA SNS, please. Can you take a look at a Solana name service? We are running out of time, so I do need to be a little bit more selective, and I think that some of that stuff is a little bit too small market cap for me. You missed the window of opportunity for me to look at degen stuff. Still on the red. They want to lock you in for another 12 months to upgrade now. Oh, God. Yeah, like, sorry. Thank you. No, thank you. I think they're trying to hold people after the dump. 100%. Tau is one that we have been meaning to cover. This is going to be the last one, so we're not going to take a look at anything beyond that. We'll take a look at Tau. If you guys want to, if you want me to talk about your project, or you know, take a look from a technical point of view as to what I'm seeing in the market as a rotation into these other alts that might be lower market cap, get into the live stream early and just start spamming the tickers, okay? Because once I get later on in the stream, I have to be a little bit more selective. So I apologize to you, Antonio. I do want to look at your coin. I'm running out of time. So we're going to take a look at Tau, because I promised Tau in a prior stream and I actually forgot to cover Tau. So we're going to take a look at Tau, which is BitTensor, an AI play. Let's take a look at BitTensor. Tau. We are below macro resistance here. So it's double bottom formation. This is really good. This is one of the Wyckoff setups. If we go ahead and take a look at the Wyckoff accumulations, one of the classic Wyckoff accumulations. Where is it? Where's the double bottom? I guess this website doesn't have the double bottom. Anyways, it doesn't have the double bottom, but this is one of these Wyckoff setups. We've seen it a million times. We're above the 7, we're above the 30, we're above the 50, but we are below this kind of support slash resistance flip here. You can see it was resistance, or sorry, it was resistance, resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance, resistance. We got to work through this, and it's funny enough. It's funny where the bull market bias flips. Look at these dots. Once we cross these line of dots, that's when things get bullish, and that's also where this line, this box of resistance is sitting. So as soon as we clear this box of resistance, which is only another 7% move. That's easy. You can do that in a day. So with one 7% move above this box, we're going to take out that level at 475.7. If we can take out the 475 level, you know we're taking out 500. Once we clear 500, it's probably going to go into the markup phase where it's going to get a complete repricing, maybe up past its all-time highs. Its all-time highs here at $1,200. I don't see that being a difficult thing at all. This is one that can definitely get into the silly price range, the 10,000, the 20,000. It can turn into the kind of the silly. It can get into the silly price where people are like, how is this worth this much? But anyways, that's BitTensor. So it's looking pretty good. Can you look at Bitcoin Cash if you haven't already? Okay, I got real quick on Bcash, just because it has the word Bitcoin in it. All right, let's take a look real quick on Bcash. This is nice. So I've said it here a few times. I've said it multiple times here on the channel. When we go into a full-blown Bitcoin bull market, the mempool is going to fill up. When the mempool fills up, Bitcoin transactions become expensive. Right now, it's like 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents to do a Bitcoin transaction. When we go into full-blown bull and the ordinal season kicks off, when ordinals are minting again, you're going to see $20, $30, $40, $50 transactions. With those fees comes a very strong and easily understood narrative that Bitcoin Cash will do well under, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision will do well under, Caspa will do really well under, Litecoin will do really well under, and it'll say Bitcoin can't scale. The Bitcoin can't scale narrative. It comes every single cycle, and when the Bitcoin can't scale narrative comes, you better believe that Bitcoin Cash is going to be probably at new all-time highs. So the highest price here for Bitcoin, or the last cycle price for Bitcoin Cash was at around $1,600. We're currently looking at about $600. This thing's going to $2,500. It's going to $3,500. It might even go to $5,000 in the right context. Beautiful double bottom formation. We've got the bullish we've got the phantom candle here. You can barely see it. It's so small, but it's there, which means we're expecting at least a 60% move in the short period, the short term. Right there, there's our candle. So we've already done 40%, so at least another 20% from here, which would take out this high right here. Once we take out that new high, we're basically repricing the asset. We're going into a markup phase with a double bottom formation, bullish market bias, above the 7, above the 30, above the 50. It's looking good. It's looking good. All right, guys, I encourage you to join the Discord. It is 100% free. It will always be free. So go to blackbox.pro. That is BLKBöX.pro. Hit the go to the join community tab, join trading community, fill out the questions, name, email, all that stuff will get you into the Discord, and that will make you eligible. We will provide more information on eligibility for the upcoming contest, the $5,000 altcoin portfolio. If you can create the most powerful $5,000 altcoin portfolio, you will win that $5,000 back. So if you take $5,000, you make an altcoin portfolio, and over a 3-month period, your portfolio produces the highest returns, you win that $5,000 back. You get a free altcoin portfolio. So more information on that in the Discord. We can't wait to see you in there. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there. Peace.